Welcome everybody to Nine's Corner. Today is Mystery Monday. Growing up in Newfoundland, we used to have two channels. One was the local channel and the second one was the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation. It is with the latter that I learned a love and appreciation for the stars of movies, the black and white movies of yesteryear. And now, today, with the advent of YouTube, you can just go down that road, go down that rabbit hole, and learn so much more, and it's so interesting. And because of my love of the old black and white classics, that I thought it was a perfect time to blend tarot and the mysteries of yesteryear. What happened with the stars? Because back in the day, most of them were covered by either the police or even by the paparazzi that were following them. I doubt that there's anybody who's not going to know who I'm talking about today. Today, we are going to be talking about Natalie Wood. Child actor on Miracle on 34th Street to a teenager with some authority issues on Rebel Without a Cause with the ill-fated star James Dean. In 1961, she starred with and dated Warren Beatty in Splendor in the Grass. Not to mention a successful run as Maria on West Side Story. Many television appearances and movie parts led to many nominations. She was working on the movie Brainstorm with Christopher Walken during the time of her unfortunate passing. In 1981, she was said to have accidentally drowned off the Santa Catalina Island on November 28th. She was 43 years old and at the time married to Robert Wagner. I'm sure many of you will remember Robert Wagner from the television series Heart to Heart.
This is my boss, Jonathan Hart, a self-made millionaire. He's quite a guy.
And he's probably gained more momentum and more success from being known as number 2 in the Austin Powers franchise. They have an interesting past. They were married in 1962, divorced in 1967, and then remarried in 1972, having a daughter, Natasha, together. Natasha was a second child for both. They seem to be very happy together and a very happily blended family. In her younger years, Natalie would describe her family as a gypsy family. Her mother lived somewhat vicariously through her star child, as she was told by a reader many years before that she would have a child that would be a star, but also beware of losing a child to drowning. Natalie's mother, Marie, would repeat this often to her children, putting the fear of water, the fear of drowning, as well as never learning to swim. There are lots of stories of her mother, Marie, wanting her to be friendly with stars and actors well above her age. But when it came to her private life, Marie didn't want Natalie to have much freedom. Natalie had told several of her friends as a teenager that she was raped by an older actor. I think one of the stories that I found described the relationship that Natalie had to have had with her mother is the one in which Natalie couldn't cry on cue. So in order to make her cry, her mother took a butterfly and pulled it apart on her. I can't imagine better imagery for the relationship, the mother taking apart a butterfly. It's sad. In 2012, Natalie Wood's official cause of death was changed to drowning with undetermined factors. Wagner had not been charged, but in 2018, he had become a person of interest. Since the drowning, her sister, Natalie Wood's sister, Lana, has always believed that Robert Wagner had more to do with it than what he was saying. The question before us, I guess, would be, was it accidental drowning or was something more to it? Over the many years since her death, many things have changed or come to life. Stories have changed. Truth is, there's so much information out there, but the basic story is that there were 4 people on the boat, the Splendor, that night. Natalie Wood, her husband Robert Wagner, fellow actor Christopher Walken, and the captain, Dennis Davin. The story gets muddled here as different things have been told and verified, but they don't all fit together. A woman screaming for help was heard by a couple on a boat close by. They also heard arguing. This was also witnessed by the people on the boat. Alcohol was consumed. The captain, Dennis, had said that Christopher Walken had retired to his room after having a fight with Wagner. Davin also said that Natalie was missing for several hours, thought to be out on the dinghy, and Robert Wagner insisted on not looking for her, not turning on the searchlights, and continued to drink. Dennis said that he had fought over a relationship, either real or imagined, between Natalie and Christopher Walken. Although the first autopsy blamed all the markings on a slip and fall into the water, recent findings on January 14th, 2013 suggest that that was not the case and that the bruising had been done before she ever reached the water. Nagachi, the first autopsy doctor, may have been involved in a cover-up. Let's do a reading and see if we can pick up on the energies present that day before, during, and after the death of Natalie Wood. So let's start off our reading and look at Natalie Wood. Oh, Natalie Wood. We start off with the Queen of Cups. This is a woman who's emotional. This is a kind woman. I'm sure she was a really good mother. This is somebody who gives, and this is somebody with scattered energies. So I'm thinking at the time she wasn't balanced in her life. Work was being positive, personal life was being negative. This would be my card to say, yes, there was an interest in Christopher Walken. Doesn't necessarily mean that it was romantic, but it does show me that things were not happy at home and that maybe she was focused on work and Christopher Walken was her work, and that was misconstrued because they had a fight on the boat. But this is letting me know that, yeah, there's something to it. She wasn't happy in her own personal life, and it was really about work for her. Eight of Pentacles. This is my card for... this would be my card to see a unexpected death. Interesting. Especially as her mother had seen a reader or a gypsy and had said this to her. I don't know if it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, but here is the unexpected death. This shows me there was a lot of drinking, a lot of things going on, a lot of talking. There was a lot of emotion that night. This would get her a lot of attention. This is somebody who's seeking attention, somebody who's looking for attention and not getting it. So I think wherever she could get attention, if that was through work, that's where she was seeking it and finding it. Ooh, Eight of Swords. There is 100% more happened that night. Because she showed up on her own in the beginning of the reading, I think that, yes, it was accidental, but like her sister Lana had said, yes, there's more here. She was blindsided. She did not go on the dinghy or to the boat of her own fruition. You can see there's lots of swords surrounding her. She was imprisoned. This is somebody whose power was taken away from them. She's got the blinder on. Her hands are tied. She did not do this on her own. It may be that she accidentally fell into the water or was pushed and thought to be in the dinghy and said, you know, learn your lesson, because they know of her fear of the water. Four of Pentacles. So here, you know, this is telling you that she was not leaving that boat. The security for her was on that boat. When they say that she had a strong fear of water, they're not exaggerating. There's no chance that she had any want to leave the boat. She didn't do it. She was looking for a solution. She was trying to figure out what to do with her husband and everything that was happening. She was embarrassed. There was so much emotion. Don't forget, she's the Queen of Cups. And that night, it was a lot happening. The Hierophant. The Hierophant. So here, there was definitely arguing on the boat. There was definitely discussions happening. Here you see somebody who has been upset, maybe even a little bit depressed because they had the law coming down on them and they didn't think it was fair. I'm talking about Natalie here. The Hierophant is that card of karma, that the powers to be are involved with this incident. So I think there's a interesting element here of, I believe that there was almost a premonition or a self-fulfilling prophecy of drowning, of having presented a situation in which this would be her demise. It was almost like it was fated to be before she ever could even think of that. But at the same time, it's a really kind of strange it's a really strange, with the Hierophant showing up, this is something greater than just the human experience that was happening. It was almost like it was fated to be. Fate was involved. Whether it was true that this was her destiny or if it was a self-fulfilling prophecy, it was done because of an argument. Here you see, throughout this, you see the secondary person, whether that was real or imagined. I don't think they had an actual real relationship happening between Natalie and Christopher Walken. I think that she was working well with him, enjoyed working with him, and maybe had feelings for him, especially if things weren't going well at home. But that exploded into an accident in which she lost her life. Those cards, when read as a story together, it definitely speaks to something more than an accident, but it wasn't murder. It wasn't blatant murder. I think it was a set of circumstances that set everybody up for an ill-fated night. That doesn't mean that nobody's responsible. It just means that I don't think it was a planned event. It was an accident, but she didn't do it all by herself. There's something more. So now we're going to look into Robert Wagner. What was his part to play? Six of Pentacles. So yeah, he was giving it to both. He was arguing with both of them. He felt like he was in the right. He felt like he was superior to them and that he was, drinking, feeling his feel, and he was going to tell you what he was thinking and what he was feeling. This was defense. He was defending himself, defending his honor, defending his relationship. He was argumentative. He was drinking, and here he was not in control of himself in his normal way. The world, completion, an end. Natalie was his world to a certain extent, because this is not a personal thing. This is more on the world stage. I think he liked the outside appearance of the relationship, but there was so much anger and drinking and defending of him and his feelings that it ended. It wasn't done by accident. The end came because he was trying to defend himself. He was fighting with both. I think he loved her, but I think he loved the idea of her and what she brought to him. This ending, this completion on a world stage, he's too afraid to admit his part. The Chariot. He immediately tried to figure out how to change the narrative because he was very afraid, very scared of how this was going to turn out, because Truly, this was not done by somebody who had ill intent. It was accidentally done by somebody who was angry and in their feelings. The Chariot being a 7 brings up the spiritual, the powers to be kind of fulfillment, being part of this situation. The Chariot is really showing that Robert Wagner gave up that night. Whether there's a feeling that he didn't intentionally, he didn't know that she was he didn't know. He literally had something happen with her. He was careless. He was feeling very willful. He was losing his way, and this shows difficulty with travel. So he knows more than what he's saying. The end result, the Knight of Pentacles. With the Knight of Pentacles, but it's reversed, this shows dishonesty. This is looking back at the situation, but it's not being dealt with on an honest way. I don't see evil cards here. I see a situation that got out of control, and it has required patience from Robert Wagner for his whole life. But patience he has. Because at the core of it, even though he knows he was involved, he does not feel like he did it to her. He believes it. But he's being dishonest about it. Wow. Let's check. Let's have a check on Christopher Walken. Does he know more, or does he suspect more? He's never been a person of interest, and although I think he doesn't want to discuss the situation of knowing about the fighting, knowing about the drinking and being part of it, knowing that Wagner was fighting with him and jealous over him and Natalie, and, you know, maybe we'll see if anything really came of it, but let's just have a look. So, Page of Pentacles, reversed. Oops, sorry. So, with the Page of Pentacles, this is really him reaping what he sows. He was just part of the situation. He's being dishonest. There's a dishonesty here. He knows more about it. The papers are in front of him, and he knows the story. He knew he had a long way to go in his career, and he didn't want this to finish him off. We got the 5 of Cups reversed. So yes, he knows about it. He knows part of it. He doesn't know all of it. The 5 of Cups, there's 2 cups still standing. So he knows about the drinking and the fighting, and he probably heard arguing. He might have heard a woman shout help, and he turned her back and didn't help, but not because he thought something was seriously wrong, but because he just didn't want to get involved. The stars. Again, fated to be. The power is to be. The fate is in this situation. This has to do with him wanting to keep his connections within the world of defending himself, defending his action, defending what he did. People are barbing him, saying, you know more, you know more. And he's defending himself, saying, no, I don't. He does know a little bit more, but he doesn't know what everybody wants to know. The real, were you there? Did you see something? Did you hear something? And the reality was, he knows something, but he's part of it, but on the peripheral. Oh my God, the world, the end, the completion of it. Something that happened on a world stage, but he does not want to think about it, respond about it. He just wants it to be an end. Bottom of the deck, 3 of Swords. He definitely felt bad about it, definitely felt heartache over it, and definitely had a weight on him through the years dealing with this. So let's have a look and see, last person on the boat, do they have anything to offer up on what was occurring during that night on the Splendor when the 4 of them? He's spoken a lot. He has these suspicions, and I think he really wanted to kind of put it out there that, look, I'm not sure what happened, but I need to be honest about what I do know and about the several hours that it took between when she went missing and when they actually went to look for him. He had a lot to say about the husband and having doubts about him. And so let's just have a look. Strength. His first card out is that he's telling the truth, that he didn't have the strength in the past to tell his truth, but he has now, with time, with everything, and maybe, strength again, another spirit. There's such a spiritual thread through this event. It is amazing. But this was him, and he knew about what was in the past, and he knew it was going to come out to haunt him in the future, and he got ahead of it, and he has the strength to deal with it. He's telling the truth. What he knows is what he knows. 6 of Wands, he was able to, he was part of it. He was trying to be helpful, but although the strength lets me know that he's being truthful when he says about there being more things, there's also a part of him that wants the recognition. There is an ego part of this that's driven, that says, hey, I want recognition for telling his truth. Page of Cups reversed. Isn't that interesting? Interesting. Page of Cups. So he heard the arguing. He heard them breaking up. He knows he's telling the truth when he said about the arguing. I don't believe he saw Natalie being pushed or fell or any of that kind of stuff. But I do think he knows that the waiting time was far too long, and that he knows he's responsible for that he should have had the ability to stand up and say, no, she's missing. It's been 10 minutes, 10 hours. Let's go. But he's built up the strength over time to tell his truth. 4 of Wands. Who, what, where, when. The 4 of Wands is just supporting the fact that there was an argument, that he heard the arguing. He knows of the situation. When he says that there was jealousy, he's telling the truth. Wow. His end card was transformation. This changed his life. This has been the thing in his life that he has been known for, and what he'll die being known for. These cards are of somebody who is telling you the truth of what they recall and remember. He does, with the Death card being a 1 and 3, he believes that 1, Wagner, 3, made the plan in the moment, and was the cause of her accident, at least the accident which led to her death. With the death card, he's definitely feeling stuck and held back, and this has affected his whole life. Wow. Such a tragedy. All right, my dear friends, I hope you, like me, enjoy this combo of tarot with mystery and look forward to next Monday when we will again look into some mystery that's been on my mind. Until then, we will say thank you for your time, our unity candle lit for each and every one of us, and until the next time we speak, cheerio. Take care.